A new study finds a lack of testing for prostate cancer may have contributed to an increase in diagnosis in recent years. The American Cancer Society says prostate cancer declined by more than 6% from 2007 to 2014. But over the past 5 years, diagnoses have increased after a national task force recommended against routine screening for men over 70 years old in 2012. Now, earlier this year, former President Joe Biden announced he had been diagnosed with a, quote, aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. A spokesperson said the 82-year-old had not been screened for the cancer since 2014. For more on this, let's bring in Dr. Arif Kamal. He's the Chief Patient Officer for the American Cancer Society. Thank you for joining us. So as we mentioned, back in 2012, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force stopped recommending routine prostate cancer testing for men over the age of 70. But ACS researchers found that advanced stage diagnosis actually increased by more than 6% over the past decade for men in this age group. So the question is, why would the task force make this recommendation? What was behind that decision?
Yeah, so guidelines like that are really made in thinking about a population at large. And there had been concerns at that time that maybe there was over testing that was at play, and particularly for people above the age of 70. I think what the data is now showing us is that there needs to be a relook at those guidelines and the way we approach these shared decision-making conversations. So for all men above the age of 45, particularly with a family history or African-American heritage, they should talk to their doctors about whether PSA testing is right for them. We are very concerned with the number of new diagnoses, particularly late-stage diagnoses, because they're telling us that we're not catching these cancers early enough.
The study also found, doctor, significant racial disparities in the number of prostate cancer diagnoses and deaths. As you just mentioned, you would advise 45 and older Black men if you have a history. But talk about what we were able to gain from that knowledge and why men of color tend to be more susceptible.
Yeah, it's one of the most impactful disparities we see in all of cancer care. In fact, Black men are twice as likely to die from prostate cancer than white men and are more likely to be diagnosed. And so while we don't fully understand all the reasons for this, we do know that misscreenings are playing a part into this. There may also be parts related to biology and also just access to care. Many of these prostate cancers need to be managed at high volume centers with people who do these procedures frequently. And so it's an amalgamation of reasons that are getting us to where we are. But at the end of the day, these are disparities that are unacceptable.
So despite the official guidelines, what recommendations would you make to a patient concerned about prostate cancer moving forward?
Yeah, at the end of the day, all men 45 and above should talk to their doctors about whether prostate cancer screening is right for them. And then that's really what the guidelines updated to say, is that there should be a shared decision-making conversation. It used to be that the blood tests happen without that conversation. Now, if the conversation is a part of the process, that's fantastic, but it needs to happen. What we're finding here is significant reversals in the benefits and the movement that we had made in the past 2 decades, largely because screenings are not happening or are happening too late.
And hopefully people caught some of those symptoms, too, to look out for, just in case you don't know. Dr. Arif Kamal, thank you so much.
You're welcome.